What if Iran's biggest warning right now isn't coming from a missile launch, but from a change inside the highest levels of its security leadership? At a moment when negotiations over the Strait of Hormuz appear to be stalling, Iran has suddenly replaced its top security official. Mohsen Rezaei, a former commander of Iran's powerful Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, has been appointed Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, replacing Mohammad Bagher Zolgadar. And the timing is difficult to ignore, because this is happening while Tehran and Washington remain locked in a dangerous standoff over the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most strategically important shipping routes. Iran says the strait will not simply reopen on Washington's terms. Tehran is demanding major concessions, while the United States is pushing for conditions of its own. And now, just as diplomacy reaches another critical point, Iran has put a veteran military figure at the center of its national security apparatus. So the question is no longer simply whether Hormuz will reopen. The bigger question is, why did Iran decide that this was the moment to change the man sitting at the center of its security decision-making? And the answer could become much more important in the next stage of this confrontation, because this may not be just a personnel change. To understand why this appointment matters, you have to understand who Mohsen Rezaei actually is. Rezaei is not a career diplomat. He is a veteran commander who spent years leading Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, one of the most powerful military institutions in the country. And now, at a moment when Iran is negotiating over the future of the Strait of Hormuz, that military figure has been placed at the center of Iran's national security decision-making. But there is something even more important. Rezaei did not simply replace another official. He was also appointed as Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Khamenei's representative on the Security Council. That gives this appointment a much deeper political meaning, because the Supreme National Security Council sits at the intersection of Iran's military, intelligence, foreign policy, and national security decisions. And while there has been no official statement saying that Iran is abandoning diplomacy, the choice of Rezaei sends a powerful signal about who Tehran wants influencing the next stage of negotiations. So now the question becomes even more uncomfortable. Is Tehran preparing to negotiate from a position of compromise or from a position of confrontation? And that question becomes critical when you look at what is happening around the Strait of Hormuz. Because while Iran was changing the man at the center of its security apparatus, the negotiations themselves were beginning to hit a wall. And that is where this story takes a much more dangerous turn. For months, the Strait of Hormuz has been more than a shipping route. It has become Iran's biggest bargain chip. And Tehran is making it clear that it does not intend to simply hand that leverage back. Iran has tied the reopening of the strait to major U.S. concessions, including an end to sanctions and military pressure, along with compensation for damage caused during the war. Washington, however, is demanding something very different. President Donald Trump has now said that Iran itself should pay compensation for Americans killed or wounded in conflicts that Washington attributes to Tehran or Iranian-backed groups. And suddenly, the negotiations are no longer just about ships. They are about money, sanctions, military pressure, and who gets to claim victory. That creates a dangerous deadlock. Iran wants concessions before the strait fully reopens. Washington wants Iran to make concessions before receiving major relief. And neither side appears willing to blink first. But there is another factor that makes this standoff even more serious. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the world's most important energy choke points. So every additional day of uncertainty doesn't just affect Iran and America. It affects oil markets, shipping companies, energy-dependent countries, and potentially millions of consumers around the world. And this brings us back to the decision made inside Tehran. Because if Iran truly wanted to signal that diplomacy was ending, the appointment of a veteran IRGC commander would make sense. But here's the twist. Rezaei has also supported negotiations. So perhaps this isn't a decision to abandon diplomacy at all. Perhaps Tehran is preparing for something more calculated, to negotiate, but from a harder position. And that leads to the final question. If Iran has strengthened its security leadership while keeping the Hormuz negotiations alive, what exactly is Tehran preparing to demand next? The answer may reveal why this leadership change happened at this particular moment. So, what does Iran's sudden leadership change actually mean? The answer may be more complicated than simply preparing for another war. Mohsen Rezaei is a hardliner, but he is not necessarily a rejection of diplomacy. He has supported negotiations while also resisting major concessions, and that distinction may be the key to understanding why Tehran chose him now. Iran appears to be trying to do something much more calculated, keep the door to negotiations open while making sure Tehran enters those negotiations from a position of strength. And the Strait of Hormuz is the leverage. Iran is refusing to treat reopening the waterway as a simple technical agreement. Tehran is linking it to sanctions, military pressure, and compensation, while Washington is demanding compensation from Iran in return. That means the real battle may no longer be happening only at sea. It is happening across the negotiating table, and Rezaei's appointment puts a veteran military strategist at the center of that confrontation, at precisely the moment the talks are losing momentum. Oil prices have already reacted to the uncertainty surrounding the stalled negotiations. But here's the biggest takeaway. Iran may not be preparing to walk away from diplomacy. It may be preparing to negotiate while holding its most powerful card over Washington, Hormuz. Because whoever controls the terms under which that strategic waterway reopens could influence not only the outcome of this confrontation, but the balance of power across the entire Gulf. And that is why this leadership change matters. The next move may not be a missile. It may be a decision made behind closed doors, determining whether the Strait of Hormuz becomes the beginning of a peace deal or the trigger for the next escalation.